Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we're taking a look at the DX Orb Calibur from Ultraman Orb. Something I really never thought I would own, I have to say. When it came out originally, I kind of forgot to pre-order it or didn't pre-order it just because I didn't know much about it at the time, and then I definitely didn't know it came with a card. Probably would have got it for the card because this was the only card for my entire Orb card collection that had eluded me thus far, so it's very exciting to finally be done with that now. But yeah, it's his primary weapon when he's in his Orb Origin form. It's a pretty neat little weapon. It has a decent amount of functionality on its own. It has a very minor amount of compatibility with the Orb Ring as well, so we'll take a look at all that stuff. But yeah, this had kind of come in and gone out of stock, and then randomly HLJ just happened to get more of them. Orb went through kind of a little renaissance earlier this year / last year, where they just kind of re-released a lot of the toys because people were kind of clamoring for them. I think Orb is very, very popular over in Japan. Definitely an excellent series, so definitely deserves to be popular. So because of that, they kind of re-released some of the stuff, which was kind of nice because it allowed me to finally add this to my collection and thus finish off my Orb stuff, which is pretty cool. So here is the packaging. You can see you have the tiny little short sword here, kind of advertise some of the things that it does. There's the look at the top. Not too much going on the bottom there. On the side, you have a little picture of Orb. Another picture of Orb over here. And then on the back, just kind of shows you how you can spin the wheel to get the different elements and such. So, pretty cool. It's definitely a fun little sword. So let's go ahead, get it out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. Here it is out of the box. This is everything you get. Of course, you have the card here, so we'll take a look at this quick. Ultra Hero card, Ultraman Orb, Orb Origin. Number 43. Taking a look at the back here. Pretty cool little card, super colorful, and I love him holding the sword. I think that looks really neat. Gonna go ahead, put this off to the side for now. We'll come back to that later when we bring in the Orb Ring. For now, we will play with the sword on its own. It's a definitely tiny little sword, but I kind of like it. It's just, I mean, it's definitely supposed to be like a sword for Orb, but for my hand, it's just kind of a little dagger, but I kind of like it. I love the metallic red paint, very sharp. Got a little bit of metallic blue here as well. The, oops, sorry, I forgot that was turned on still. You have the ring here that spins. That's kind of a creamish beige color. It does take 3 AAA batteries right here, and then here's the on and off switch. It's very loud, as you just heard. I'm trying to figure out where the speaker is. I guess the speaker's right here. If we zoom in a little bit, you can see it a little better. So there's the speaker, on and off switch. Here's the panel that it's just a little pin. You push the pin in, slide it back, pop in your batteries. And then, of course, you have the trigger right here. So we'll go ahead and turn it on. So it says Orb Calibur, and you can see that that symbol in the middle is lit up. And if we hit the trigger, so you just kind of get generic slashing sounds. That's it for the kind of base mode, which is just this symbol in the middle lit up. Now how this works is, as you spin this, it rotates around. So if we spin it just a little bit, you can see it lights up the fire, and then that'll pulsate. Now you can rotate it around and it'll change, but you can see even if I start going backwards, it will just keep rotating around. So if I keep going, so now it's back to fire. So if I hit the trigger, it says Orb Flame Calibur. Now at this point it'll continue to pulsate until you spin the wheel again. And then it goes back to the base. So I think that's kind of neat. So that's the Flame Calibur. And I love the sound effect for water. It just sounds like you're underwater, like some bubbles. So Orb Water Calibur. So then we'll go around again. I love that rock smashing sound. Very cool. So it says Orb Grand Caliber. And then if we go back around, so that Orb Wind Caliber. So that's it for the 4 individuals. Now if you just whip this thing, it'll light up all 4 of them. Or I should say all 5, technically. Now if you hit the trigger, so you get that really nice, like, harmonica music that Orb used to play when Guy was just, like, walking around not transformed. So I love that little riff of music there. I think that's really fun. So that's what happens if you just hit the trigger. Now if we do this again, this time we're going to hold the trigger down. You can see hitting the trigger does nothing. So you want to spin again. So that's Orb Supreme Calibur, and that's kind of, you know, the mass, you know, everything all together attack. So I think that's really cool. Definitely a decent little bit of playability there. You have a unique sound and call for each of the 4 elements. Then you have the cool, like, harmonica music when you do all of them and just hit the trigger. Then when you do all of them and hold down the trigger, you get the Supreme Caliber. So pretty decent amount of sounds out of this thing. Like I said, it is tiny, kind of fits in my hand. Pretty close. I don't know. I kind of don't love the cream color on this. I almost wish it was just a gray, like a light gray color, like even just the same plastic as this. I understand why they don't want to paint it, because when you're constantly spinning it, the paint would wear off over time. But I kind of wish it was just the same gray plastic. It just, I don't know, it seems a little out of place to me. I don't know why. It's just my personal thing. I don't hate it, but it just seems a little off being that cream color. What are you going to do? So let's go ahead, we'll bring in the Orb Ring so we can take a look at the card and the sword with the Orb Ring. Alright, so here we have the Orb Ring. We'll go ahead and we'll start with the card. And you can kind of see how the light pulsates all the different colors, which is very cool. So not bad. I mean, the sound effects are not super exciting. When you first transform, you just kind of get that sound. But then the sound for the attack, I think, is actually pretty decent. So it's a fun little card. I'm going to put this off to the side, and we will bring the sword in. Let's make sure the sword is turned on. To be honest, I don't think it makes a difference if the sword is turned on or not, because it just has a reader in the blade. So on the show, he puts it through. But you could even just touch it near it. See, when it does it a second time, it's like, what? So not terribly exciting there. I'm going to start this over again just to make sure. So yeah, Not terribly exciting, unfortunately. Really, the card and the sword are both a little lame with the Orb Ring, in my opinion. I mean, like I said, it's nice to finally have this card to complete my collection. And I would say the sound effects with the card are more exciting than the sound effects from the sword. But it just kind of is what it is. I think it's a fun little set. I mean, as Ultraman roleplay items go, with the exception of like the main Henshin device, you know, they're usually kind of hit or miss. Sometimes they don't have a ton of functionality, but I think this one does have a pretty good bit of functionality. I love the LEDs. I think they're very bright and colorful. You have 5 different elements to say if you count Ultraman as his own element. So you kind of have the 5 different elements there, where they all have their own different color. You can cycle through each one and get individual sounds for each. And I really do love some of the sound effects, like the water sound and the crashing rock sound and the wind and fire sounds. And then you get their own call and attack sounds. Plus, then you get the really cool harmonica riff for all of them. And then if you hold the trigger down, you get a cool sound for that as well. So there's a decent amount of playability with this thing. All the different sounds, the LEDs, very bright and colorful. Definitely something I think kids in Japan loved because I think there's a lot of fun there. It is very tiny. I mean, all kind of sword roleplay toys in Japan are pretty tiny, but I don't know, it's kind of endearing. I think that kind of makes it kind of adorable that it's like a little dagger. And the LED part is just kind of the main part of the whole toy. The blade is very negligible. So like I said, for me personally, it was definitely fun to get this. I was able to get it new for normal retail price. I didn't have to go secondhand or pay exorbitant prices because it was hard to find. So it was definitely fun for me to be able to get this now and finish off my Orb collection, get that last card to complete all my card collection for that. So I think it's fun. I mean, is it going to be worth it for everyone? I think it's really going to be up to you guys. It's going to depend on how big of an Orb fan you are, how easily you can get a hold of this thing. If you already have it, you probably like it. If you're trying to find one now, it's probably going to be pricier, so that's going to kind of make it, you kind of have to decide, what's worth it for you. But if you can get one for a decent price, or if you can get one secondhand and you don't mind the condition it's in, something like that, if you can get it for a decent price, I think it's a fun little roleplay toy. Probably the best roleplay toy aside from the Orb Ring itself that came out during the Orb run. So, yeah, that's what it is. Like I said, unfortunately, I don't have really anything negative to say about it, but it didn't knock my socks off, so I'm kind of very much in the middle. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.